Good morning. Today is Sunday, the 27th day of Iyar. And yesterday on Shabbos, we started chapter 52 of the 53 chapters of the Tanya. The first part of Tanya, Likutei Amarim. This week we're going to finish. And we're going to make a siyum, a celebration for concluding the first part of the Tanya on Thursday night, 9 p.m. here at the Chabad of 1315 Avenue Y. So you're all welcome to join. Now, in the last three chapters of the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe is talking about the importance of the actual mitzvahs, and we see in today's class, the Alter Rebbe is telling us the amazing power of what the Torah has. The power of the Torah is the one that the entire existence of this world depends on the Torah. The Torah of Hashem is what serves in a way, if we can use the term, as like a bridge between the godliness and this physical world, so that we should be able to exist and not being completely nullified. To explain, the Alter Rebbe explained, he quoted the Zohar, where it says that there is a light of Hashem. The light of God is on the head of a person. That's why we wear yarmulke. We cover the head. We don't work without head covering. And in order to get this light burning, we need oil. We need fuel. What is the fuel? The actual mitzvahs. In order to explain why the actual mitzvahs are fuel, we need first to understand what does it mean that God dwells in a place. He dwells in this place rather than somewhere else. He dwells in the temple, in the Holy of Holies. He dwells more than somewhere else. If Hashem is everywhere, everything is God, so what does it mean that he dwells in certain places? And for that, Alter Rebbe went on to explain. And he gave the metaphor, the analogy from the human condition, that we have the soul that animates the body. Where does it come from? Each organ has its own energy and powers that functions the way this organ is supposed to function. We see with the eyes, we smell with the nose. Every organ has a different function and draws a different type of energy from the soul to be able to function. Now, the soul itself doesn't see, doesn't have the physical sight. The soul itself is beyond, it's above anything of these detailed, the specific functions. The soul is something which is indivisible. It's not divided into these different details. There must be something in between. So basically, generally speaking, there are three stages. You have the soul itself, which is beyond any division. It's above sight, above smell, above any kind of power. It is just a general concept of the soul. That's the stage number one. Stage number three is the details, the actual functions of the body in the different types of functions. In between there is stage number two, and that is a power that the soul gives, that this power becomes dispositioned, and in potential it has the ability to see, to hear, to talk. All of these different functions, they come from that second stage, and that second stage dwells where? In the brain of the person. That means the brain, the brain also doesn't see, but the brain has the ability. In the brain, there is a power of sight that you can give to each function, to the eye, or each other function that the body has is in the brain, in potential. The same thing says the Alter Rebbe. This is the metaphor for the godliness. The essence of Hashem is beyond the worlds. It's above the worlds. And it's not divided, definitely. In order for Hashem's, God's light to come down to this world, it needed to be a place which is in between. This is the brain. And in generally, what is the brain? Is the Chachma of Hashem, the wisdom of Hashem, which is one with Hashem. Now, this is called, yesterday's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe explained that this we're referring to in each world, we have what is called the Shechinah. The Shechinah is that divine, godly energy that potentially can give and be divided into this world, into the different details in this world. However, the Shechinah itself needs to be also enclosed and covered. And he brings the analogy like the sun, the light of the sun. The light of the sun, when it's in the sun, it's nullified. It's part of the sun itself. We just have a ray from the sun that comes in, and we can benefit from this ray of the sun. Continues the Alter Rebbe here in explaining that we need that light from the Shechinah, which is already the light that God gave from his essence, to make it in a form, in a way that it should become, after the contractions and so on, to become in potential to be connected to this world. This is the Shechinah. But it is too powerful. It is too powerful to receive that light. In order to receive this light, you need to cover it. It needs to be covered and concealed further, as we'll understand as we go along in today's lesson. So let's look inside. Says the Alter Rebbe, so what is given? What is the given over to the world? The ray from the Shechinah. But the Shechinah itself, namely the origin and the core of the manifestation, whereby the blessed Ein Sof illuminates the world. Masha Ein Sof Baruch Hu Meir la'olamos b'bchinas gilui. Vehi mekoyer kol hamshachos chayus shebekol olamos, which is the source of all streams of vitality in the world, which means shekol achayus shebahem einoi rak oira mispashet mimeno. Their entire vitality being no more than the light which is diffused from it, ke'oir amispashet me'ashemesh, like the light radiated from the sun. So it says this Shechinah, which is the source of the light, the source of the energy of this world, efshar la'olamos lisboil ulekabel oir Shechinasa. So concerning the Shechinah itself, the source of all vitality for the worlds cannot endure or receive the light of this Shechinah. That it might actually dwell and enclose itself in them. It's like the sun itself cannot come and dwell in this world. It needs to be concealed. The sun has a cover. So without a garment to screen and conceal its light from them. In order for us to receive and to be able to exist, we need to have a garment that conceals the light of the Shechinah to be able to exist. So that they may not become entirely nullified and lose their identity within their source. Kebitul oir hashemesh b'mekoiroi beguf hashemesh. Just as the light of the sun is nullified in its source, namely the sun itself. When the light of the sun is in the sun itself, it doesn't have its own existence. It's nullified in the sun. She'ein nireh sham oir zeh, rak etzem guf hashemesh bilvad. Where the light cannot be seen, but only the integral mass of the sun itself. So now we need a garment, all right? We need a garment to conceal this light. However, now we have a problem. What is the garment? What can serve as a garment? If you need a garment to cover the light, so what is the garment made of? The garment itself will also be nullified. What is the garment made of? Something that should be able to contain the light of Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe goes to explain, you need a garment that is more powerful than the Shechinah itself, and therefore it will not be nullified. What is more powerful than the Shechinah itself? The Shechinah, we explained, is God's dwelling after contraction. What is more powerful is the essence of Hashem, the essence of God himself. So the God himself made the garment from himself. However, where is this garment? How did he make the garment? This, says the Alter Rebbe, is the Torah, the mitzvahs, being that this is the will and the wisdom of God. Just like by human being, what is the thing that is most intimately connected with a person himself? Is the logic. Any other functions is related to something else. Speech, you speak to outside of you. Love, you feeling, emotions, emotions relate to something outside of you. The intellect, your understanding, your thinking is more within you. It's more intimately connected to you. And so too, when we're talking about Hashem, so much more so when we're talking about God. We're talking about God, we're talking about the wisdom of Hashem, as we explained many times, is one with God himself. As the Alter Rebbe quotes the Rambam, that God is not divided like a human being, the wisdom of a person. You have three parts. You have the person, you have his wisdom, and you have the subject that he studies. By God, something that is beyond our understanding is that he knows the thing because he is the thing. Hashem with the thing, with the subject, it's one thing. So the Hashem placed himself in the Torah. And the Torah now serves as a garment to the Shechinah that Hashem brings the life and the energy to this world. It is through the Torah. However, you may ask the question, if the garment that holds the Shechinah, the God's light, is greater and holier than the Shechinah itself, then the garment itself should be something that we should be burned into this garment. How could we have the garment and not be completely nullified in the garment? So this, says the Alter Rebbe, is the amazing power what Hashem did. He took his essence and the greatest light and he put it in the Torah. His very essence is in the Torah. And yet the Torah, he brought it down into levels after levels until it becomes close to us. And this is something that only Hashem, which is above limits and is above the limitations of differentiation of infinite and finite. He placed his essence in the Torah, and the Torah is compared to water. Water is a type of, and it uses the example of water because water is something that comes, if you pour water from the top of the mountain, the same water comes to the bottom of the mountain. It's not changed. Unlike other types of flow or energy, like wisdom, for example. A teacher teaches his students, he teaches him. So it's not the exact same logic that the teacher has goes to the student. It goes down. Whatever the student is capable of understanding. So here says the Alter Rebbe, this is the secret. The Torah has the power and the world exists through the Torah. When you study the Torah, when you do a mitzvah, you draw Hashem's energy into this world. And you allow the energy to become placed into this physical world without being nullified in the light of Hashem, in the great light of Hashem. So continues the Alter Rebbe. But what is the garment which is able to conceal and clothe the Shechinah? Yet will not itself be completely nullified within its light. Says the Alter Rebbe, this is his blessed will and wisdom. And so forth, referring to the levels of Bina and Das, which are part of the intelligence above, as mentioned earlier, and the Torah and the mitzvahs, which are clothed in the Torah and its mitzvahs. This light of Hashem is clothed in the Torah and mitzvahs that are revealed to us and our children. Nigleis lanu ulebaneinu. And the Torah is something that is not nullified within the Shechinah because the Torah is higher than the Shechinah. The Iraisa mechachma nafkas, for the Torah issues from wisdom, hi chachma ilah, namely the chachma ilah, the supernal wisdom, which is the level of chachma of Atzilus, the le'ela me'alma de'izgalia, that is immeasurably higher than the world of manifestation. Alma de'izgalia is the Shechinah. As I mentioned, this is mentioned in yesterday's class. Alter Rebbe gives different names, 4 different levels of the Shechinah, 4 different names, titles to the Shechinah. But the Chachma is higher than the Shechinah. The Iyu Chakim v'loi b'Chachma Yediyah. For he is wise with the wisdom of Chachma v'Atzilus, but not with the not knowable wisdom and so forth. U'k'moshen isbar le'el. And as previously been explained, that the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof is clothed is clothed in and united with the supernal wisdom, and he and his wisdom are one. So the wisdom of Hashem is Hashem Himself. So when we study the Torah, we study Hashem Himself. We connect with God Himself. However, if that is even higher than the Shechinah, then how come we are not nullified within the Torah? This is the amazing power. What Hashem did. He took that essence of His and He placed it in the Torah, and He brought it down from level to level until it was enclosed in physical things. What is the Torah? What is the Torah talking about? If you steal, people stealing from each other, what is the law? You shouldn't steal. If people harm each other, what is the law? How much you have to pay? All physical things. A bull that gores a cow, and so on and so forth. That's what Alter Rebbe says here. Sheyoda b'seiser hamadregas mimadrega lemadrega beishtalshelus ha'olamis. Only this is because supernal wisdom in the Torah has descended by means of obscuring gradations from a higher grade to a lower grade, ad shenislapsha b'dvorim gashmim, with the descent of the worlds until the Torah, has closed itself in material things. Shem Taryag mitzvahs Torah, namely the 613 commandments of the Torah. So this is as we get ready for Shavuos, the holiday, the celebration of the Torah. We are getting a deeper understanding of what is the Torah all about. That the Torah really carries in it the essence of Hashem, studying the Torah, and the whole world, the existence of the world, cannot exist unless we have the Torah, unless we do the Torah and do the mitzvahs. This is the things that we give to the world. So this is the end of today's shir. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to share it. Once again, keep in your calendar, this Thursday night, we're going to have a siyum of the Tanya. Everyone is invited. We should have a wonderful, wonderful day. Any questions we can ask now.